Everyone is on a path that leads them to where they call home. This podcast is about that journey from wilderness to home. Today, I want to talk to you about some things that come up all the time during home inspections, but many buyers don't fully understand, and it's part of my job to explain it to them. So today, I'm going to explain it to you. So these three things that come up with a home inspection are usually like additional costs to the home inspection, and they are radon, mold, and meth testing. I'm going to explain today why these three issues can sound scary, but the good news is that they're testable, manageable, and usually fixable. Here's 5 things you need to know about radon, meth, and mold testing before closing on a home. Number 1, the first thing to know is that these issues show up in many, many homes, even new construction. Radon occurs naturally from the soil. Mold can develop anytime moisture is present, and meth contamination can occur if a property was previously used to manufacture drugs or just partying too hard in. There is a legal limit for methamphetamine testing in the state of Utah. Higher than that requires decontamination. Again, most homes don't have serious problems, but testing is the only way to know for sure. So, point number 1, these are common issues. Point number 2, radon is the most common. It's a naturally occurring radioactive gas that comes from the ground and can enter through the foundations or from just existing on top of soil. It is a serious issue and can cause lung cancer even in non-smokers. About 1 in 3 homes in Utah will need radon mitigation. Of 115,000 homes that were tested, 48% came back high. The EPA recommends action if radon levels are 4.0 picocuries per liter or higher. Don't ask me what a picocurie is, but I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. The good news is that radon mitigation systems are very effective and relatively affordable. If you're watching the video, here's a picture. I will include this in the show notes if you're curious about what a radon mitigation system looks like. The average cost right now I can speak to, because I'm dealing with one on a transaction, is about $1,700 to $2,200 depending on the floor plan. To us, that's relatively low because we work with real estate transactions every day and we're throwing around hundreds of thousands of dollars. So to me, $2,000-ish doesn't seem that high. If that's something you're willing to risk, then you may not need to do it before closing. But it is a good idea to do a radon test in your home that you're currently living in or one that you are considering buying. Point number 3 is mold usually means a moisture problem. I'm from Washington State and we dealt with mold all the time in real estate transactions there. Anytime you see the word biogrowth, that basically means mold. It's just the specialist calling it biogrowth because until we get the results back from the lab, we cannot call it mold necessarily. In Utah, it's not really a huge problem. Only about 10% of homes inspected show mold issues. It only takes 24 to 48 hours after a material becomes wet for mold to start growing, so it can happen fast. Because it's so dry here, it's relatively low risk, but if there are roof leaks or any kind of basement humidity, ideally the humidity is 30 to 50% here. There are lots of whole home humidifiers on HVAC systems. If there's plumbing leaks or poor ventilation, then we may see mold or biogrowth, and the question becomes what caused the moisture, and if we can fix what causes the moisture, then most homes are perfectly fine. Point number 4 that you need to know is meth contamination testing is becoming way more common. I am told that 25% of the meth tests done here in Utah come back positive. To me, that seems really high. In some areas, inspectors test for meth residue because homes that were used as drug labs or party spots can leave contamination behind. Utah has a lower overall drug use than other states. We're not really known for being a state full of drug users, but meth tends to show up because it's cheap, it's long-lasting, and it's trafficked through our interstate corridors like I-15 and I-80. Even small amounts of meth can pose health concerns, especially for children. So if a home tests positive, there's a cascade of things that happens after that. There are several professional remediation companies that clean and certify the property. It's not common, but it's something they may check for. If you get a high test, the recommendation is that you get confirmation testing. Most of the time, this is paid for by the seller, but not always. That is a point of negotiation. Every room will be tested, not just the 2 sites that maybe the initial test covered. And if half or more of them are over the state limit of 1.0, then full decontamination must take place before anyone can purchase or otherwise occupy the house. That is state law. So most commonly, about 90% of the time, I'm told the HVAC system just needs to be decontaminated, which is a much lower cost and effort than full decontamination, where all the porous surfaces, including the carpets, etc., have to be removed. The quote I received for an average home for HVAC decontamination only was under $3,000. So that brings us to point number 5, is none of these automatically kill a deal. This is the most important point. Finding radon, mold, or meth contamination does not mean you should walk away from a property. I always say give the seller a chance to make it right. Instead, this scenario just leads to negotiating repairs, requesting mitigation systems like for radon, asking for professional remediation, or adjusting the purchase price, which doesn't always put money in your pocket. So make sure you talk to your agent about that. So as an agent, between the inspector and I, we help you decide the right path forward. Many homes that initially test high for radon or show mold end up becoming great homes after really simple fixes. So there's 5 takeaways. Radon, mold, and meth contamination are testable risks. Radon is the most common environmental issue found in inspections here in Utah. Mold usually means a moisture issue that needs fixing. Meth testing is becoming way more common in some markets, and most of these issues can be mitigated or repaired. So if you're buying a home and want guidance on inspections or environmental testing, feel free to reach out. Call me. I have a favorite home inspector I could refer you to as well. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you on the next episode.